Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
One of the things that I have to be careful about is when I'm speaking to a client or someone who would like to work with me, or maybe even someone who is just learning about the business. I almost have to be careful with some of the wording because I'm very truthful when it comes to telling people what it is. Sometimes it could be a good thing, sometimes it could be a bad thing. Sometimes the hard truth is what we need. We need someone to tell us, hey, this is the reason why something is not good in our life. Or if you're not showing up, this is the reason, right? We take extreme, and I mean extreme accountability here. I know sometimes I would not yell at a client, but I would definitely let them know when they're messing up. And sometimes it's done gradually. Sometimes it's done abruptly, depending on the personality of the person. By that, I mean, if someone needs a kick in the butt right now, they're going to get a kick in the butt right now. However, sometimes people, they need a warm up. Think of it as going into a pool. Some people like to jump right in, and some people like the tiptoe method. I'm going to take a little bit of a step, go inch by inch, and that is extremely painful because it takes so long to become acclimated to who you should be, being comfortable in your environment. Yes, of course, we can choose to jump in for certain things and choose to tiptoe for certain things. But at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself, your mind, your mindset, and you have to say, what is it that I truly want? Do I want it now? Do I want it later? For example, maybe you want a car, right? Maybe you're walking, you're taking the bus. Do you want it now? Do you want it later? Now, just because you want something now, it doesn't mean that you're capable of getting it right now. Financially, you might not be able to get a car. So you are going to walk until you can afford a car. However, the aspect is still there. Do you want it? And sometimes people are like, I don't really know what I want. Because they'll come and they'll say, hey, this is what I want to do. And we start to look at all the areas that are gray, where we didn't give much attention or we didn't give much light. And then all of a sudden it's like a race to the finish. It's like, okay, well, I'm looking to get this immediately. But we have to look at the timestamp. Things take time. Goals take time to finish. If you have a dream, it's going to take time to build that dream. It's not something that you can just get coaching and then all of a sudden you have all your dreams and your wishes. What is your mindset telling you? How long is this going to take? And so when we have the beginning of the relationship typically, and I had a client ask me almost a loaded question, and I was like, this is a loaded question, but I'm going to be honest, as I was saying. And she says, do you think I'm fat? And I go, well, according to BMI, are probably fat or maybe even obese, right? We would have to look at your height weight ratio. And I understand what BMI is. BMI is not so much of a definite way to determine if you are in a healthy state of body, physical well being. Are you fat? Are you too thin? Are you just right? BMI is almost like a guidepost. It kind of helps you along the way. It doesn't necessarily determine like this is definitive because there's many factors that you have to incorporate, right? Bone density. You have to incorporate genes, genetics, culture. You also have to incorporate things like, am I going to the gym and I have a lot more muscle on me because muscle weighs more than fat? So you might be over the threshold, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are overweight. So I know this is a difficult concept, especially in the modern world where they look at beauty as a standard, but beauty for a woman is different than beauty for a man or being handsome for a man, right? Beauty for a woman is going to be blanket across the board, right? You're beautiful just the way you are. So for me, it's going to be honesty. We will look at the BMI, give you the statistics, but then after I give you those statistics, I ask you the most important question ever. And this is something that you can do for yourself. You don't need to ask me anymore. hey, am I fat or something like that? Because it seems like to be a trend, right? To ask me, this question. Ask yourself this question if you want to do that, because I'm just going to say BMIs, whatever. You have to say, do you feel comfortable in your body? Right? Or you would say, do I feel comfortable in my body? I'm going to tell you, do you feel comfortable in your body? And if the answer is yes, great, you're fine. I'm not going to say, hey, you are just perfect the way you are. No, no, no. You get to choose what perfect is, just as you get to choose what success is. This is something that you have to overcome the standards of what people are saying about you or about women or about men, right? Everyone's going to have a standard. But what is your standard? Maybe your standard is I don't care what dress size I am. I don't care what jean size I am. I don't care what shirt size I am. Maybe that's your standard, right? But maybe you say, I want to fit in a number 5 dress. I want to fit in a large shirt. I want to have a 32 waist or a 25 or 26 waist or whatever it is for ladies. I think it's in uh, also numbers like your size 4 or something like that. For men, it's inches, but it could be both ways. I'm not too sure. What is your mindset when it comes to that? And that led me to today's episode because this is a good question to ask. If I would like to get people more in line with who they would like to be, most people will start to elevate themselves much sooner rather than accepting who they have fallen into. One of the examples I'm going to give you, of course, this could be a timeless episode, but I'm just going to use someone. We have 2 singers, right? Or 2 artists for music. We have Adele and you have Lizzo. Adele, she used to be bigger set. She was heavy and she lost a bunch of weight. And all of her fans and everyone would say, well, you look better when you were bigger. You shouldn't have lost that weight. I can't respect you anymore. And she had so much backlash for losing a little bit of weight. But here's the crazy thing. She feels so much more empowered now. For the ladies who are going to promote empowerment and to uplift other women, almost like the feminist, right? They are the ones who are attacking her. And you have to ask yourself the $1,000,000 question, why? Why are these ladies who should be uplifting other women attacking a woman who's losing weight and trying to empower herself, make herself better? And I'll tell you the reason. The reason is because now the accountability is shifting from someone else to them. I have to be responsible for what I'm doing. Because if I can't lose weight or if I'm gaining weight and internally my subconscious is saying something is wrong, because like I said, you can ask someone all day long, are you big? Or am I fat? Or am I obese? And they can say, comforting lie. Yeah, no, 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 you're fine. You're perfect just the way you are. But then they go home and they feel alone because it's easy in our social media world to say everything is perfect. Yes, I have a perfect life. I'm so happy. I'm 45 and I have no kids and I'm dancing and I'm going to all these trips. And guess what? Maybe, right? Maybe you're happy. Maybe there's some joy in your life. And I'm not saying that you need to have a family in order to be joyful or to be successful. But you do have to look at the bigger picture. Most people are living just for the moment. I have spoken to so many young ladies in their 20s. And when it comes to their development, let me tell you, they are 100% career focused. All right. Now, not 100% of ladies are career focused, but the good majority of women are going to be career focused, especially when they're leaving high school, because then again, we have this mindset that if I want to be successful, I have to push myself up the corporate ladder and I have to do all these things to make myself viable. But then you miss out on your youth, right? But then you can say, well, I'll have kids later. And then there's certain women who reach their fees and they say, I'm finally ready to have children. But maybe there's no men for them to have children with because maybe most of the men are going for the younger ladies, or maybe they're not physically able to do it, right? Maybe their body's just not able to do it anymore. Then again, we have to look at the mindset. What and who was telling you otherwise? If family was something important to you, why did you not embrace it sooner than later? The next R&B artist or rapper is Lizzo. Lizzo promoted herself to being this big girl, right? She even has a series or had a series on Amazon. It's a bunch of big girls and they were doing all this stuff. I met her once before when they had the premiere for the Amazon thing. And, I'm not really starstruck when it comes to celebrities. Like, I don't care who you are. You could be a president. You could be a prince. It doesn't matter to me. You're just another person. And I know some people can be so ecstatic when they see one of their heroes or idols. I know like the Taylor Swift crew, right? They're like, oh my God, Taylor Swift. And they'll faint or something, right? But for me, it's kind of like, I'm not saying that you're not special, but to me, you're just another person. Okay. I just don't do favoritism. My kid, for example, when they're going off and they're doing the wrong thing, if my kid does the wrong thing, they're getting into trouble the same way, another kid's would get in trouble. There's no favoritism because I understand that. And, at the end of the day, we're all equal. We should all be striving for something more than just, all right, I'm going to say you're my favorite. You're going to get special treatment because that's going to create like some type of division in their mindsets. Oh, dad's going to come save me or mom's going to come save me. You're going to get the same type of treatment everyone else gets. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to treat this person a certain way because of their height, their color, their age. No. Right? Maybe if they're like older, maybe you're a little bit more patient. You hold the door for them. You do all these things, right? Maybe it's a little bit extra, but it's still going to be based on respect and accountability. Do you have that for yourself? Some people don't. Going back to the Lizzo thing, right? Lizzo currently is going to the gym, losing some weight. What happened to this woman and her mindset when it came to, well, I'm fine just the way I am. I'm not going to lose any weight because I feel comfortable in my skin. And then all of a sudden, now she doesn't feel comfortable in her skin. Is it because there's so many people who have told her that she should lose weight, or there's so many followers and people on the internet saying, hey, you need to lose some weight, you're too big? Well, guess what? Either it finally got to her or she finally realized that she needed to make some changes. Either or, she made some adjustment. Should all her fans and all the people who maybe love her for her current weight be upset that she's trying to make some changes? No. But the reality is that a good portion of them will, because now they have to do the work too. Oh my goodness. I could have, I accepted myself because I saw someone who was at a high status and they were really well. And we were very similar, maybe similar in weight, similar in size, maybe even similar in mindset. But now everything is changing. Things are adjusting. There is a mindset that you have to understand, that the mindset is going to keep on adjusting as you grow up, as time goes on. Think of it as a trend. The mindset trend. The mindset trend is going to be what is currently popular, because maybe the current trend is Instagram right now, and I'm going to do a bunch of Instagram stuff. And that's the mindset trend, right? I'm showing my perfect life. But then maybe there's a new trend that comes. I'm going to be 100% raw. I'm going to show you all the bad things that happen in my day. And then at the end of the day, I'm still going to show you a smile. Now, that trend is going to be less likely to be promoted because people only want to show you the good. They want to show you the yachts, the jets, the fast cars, but they don't want to show you the long nights. They don't want to show you the days when they felt uncertain. And I understand they are going to be people that do that, but the good majority of people are not. Me, when it comes to the podcast, I'll tell you the good, I'll tell you the bad. I don't mind because I understand that this is a journey. The podcast that I have here is a journey. I am, I guess you could say, battered and bruised when it comes to everything from, starting off the 500 plus. We have a new platform. Everything was kind of, in disarray in the beginning. And then now we're starting to get, our groove back, because I could have fallen back into what we did for the past 499 episodes, and I can have said, this is going to be what I'm doing. But it was putting more strain on the podcast and on all the people working on it, because it was not realistic. It wasn't something that we could have kept up for the next 500 episodes. It was just too much work. So we started to make some adjustments. And of course, it took some time to acclimate. And we have to be able to acclimate. Maybe acclimate to bad news, acclimate to constructive criticism, acclimate to the person that we would like to become. Who is that for you? And so one of the exercises I do with new clients is we write a bunch of things down, right? We, like in my office, we have a window that is also a whiteboard, and you can literally draw on this glass, and it's literally the glass you can look through, but it's a little bit clouded so you can see the words more than the, just looking through and seeing like a person walk by or something, where we just kind of brainstorm and we just write down everything that we would like to do, things that we would like to accomplish. If we maybe would like to change something, we do values, we do everything, right? We do likes. Maybe you like pizza. We write down that, right? And then from there, we start to figure out a plan, because when we look at the totality of us, is more than just how we feel every single moment. If you would like to lose some weight, it's a different journey. If you would like to be successful, it's a different journey, right? But then we can look at correlations for how, if you're trying to lose weight, and then when you're trying to be successful, how there's things that you can leverage when you're trying to lose weight that can also be used when you're trying to be successful. For example, discipline. Discipline is a great trait. We should be looking at discipline more than motivation. I know many people, they ask like, Mike, how can we be motivated? Can you motivate me? And I'm talking, I have motivation in motion. I have the podcast. You can motivate yourself. Listen to the episode. Maybe it gives you a kick in the butt. Some people need the motivation. Some people need the accountability. They need the weekly check-ins. They need someone to say, hey, you're not okay. Because if you tell yourself a lie long enough, it becomes your truth. And oftentimes we will tell ourselves a lie before being truthful with ourselves. It is almost like a safety mechanism. If I close my eyes, I won't be afraid of the dark. When you're younger, right? You're afraid of the dark, maybe. You need a nightlight. You need some type of hero to come save you. Mom, Dad, please come. It's dark. I can't see. I'm afraid. But if you open your eyes and you begin to pay attention, you'll start to see that there's nothing there. It's just your imagination. And sometimes your imagination can lead you to the best moments, and it can lead you to the worst moments. Typically, if you don't have any control, you're gonna go straight to those poor moments, those negative moments. But if you can go to those more prosperous moments, where would that lead you in life? And it goes back to what I said in the beginning. People are asking me these loaded questions like, Michael, am I fat? Am I overweight? Am I just fine? Like, do I look good? I'm like, well, what do you think? And that is $1 million question. What do you think about your life right now? Do you see it as something that I would like to make some change? Or is it a life that you says everything is perfect? I don't want to change a thing. And if it is that, I don't want to change a thing, then you are most likely on the right track. But when you say, I don't want to change a thing, and you kind of get that sunken feeling in your belly, your stomach, maybe your mind, something happens with your eyes, actually. Like I can tell, like when I'm speaking to someone, if it's truly theirs, if they shift their eyes at all when they tell you this dream of theirs, right? The reality. Maybe it is, for example, like, so I'm looking at the camera right now for any of the video watchers. If you are talking to someone and they're like talking to you, right? And you ask them your dream, they say, my dream is this. And all of a sudden they go, well, I'm happy like where I am right now. Maybe they're looking up, like things are okay. That could be a sign, maybe. Now, it also could be a sign of comfort, right? Because it could be uncomfortable to look someone in the eye for a long time. I know I do it, with clients because I'm trying to understand every bit about them. And their eyes can tell me so much because my job is not so much of only helping people get to where they want, it's to help them understand what they truly want. Because sometimes, and it happens more than, I would like it to, we don't know what we truly want. We think we know. So we're on that path to make it to the life that we desire. But we do it inch by inch, piece by piece, bit by bit. And then when we finally get close enough to the reality that we're vying for, it becomes a bit more manageable to see our true path. We become more streamlined. We stop doing all these zigzag things, the yo-yo things, the yo-yo dieting or whatever, right? It's the same thing in life. The yo-yo success or the yo-yo engagement and fulfillment of us. We have the power, but we have to ask ourselves, do we have the power? Are we accountable? What do we think about who we are becoming? Because if we don't even truly care about our path or our results, we're going to continually be in the same predicament. Because we can look around and we'll see what everyone else is doing, and we can compare ourselves to them. But at the end of the day, what is it that you think about yourself? Because that's what truly matters. Do you feel good? And I'm not asking for the lie. I'm not asking for you to promote something to make someone jealous or to make someone upset or to, stir the nest or whatever. Because at the end of the life that you have, you're going to be faced with a reality. And the reality is pride. Or you could be like prideful of your life, maybe. There could be different words for that. I just can't think of one. Regret is a heavy burden. Regret is going to be the things that you wish you have done, but you didn't. Maybe it could have been, I wish I had a relationship. Maybe I wish I started a business. Maybe I wish I learned a different language. Maybe I wish I spent more time with my family. Maybe I wish something, right? Because you have finally run out of time. And now regret's going to be there. And you might try to mitigate some of the things before you pass. So you're like, okay, I'm going to call my friends and I'm going to call my family, say I love them. And it could be enough, but oftentimes it's not. We have an opportunity today to mitigate like as much regret as possible. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to lead you to your best truth ever. So don't worry about what the world says or thinks about you. What do you think about you? What is your mind telling you about you? And then even go into your unconscious and your subconscious, like who you are as a person, who you were built up to be. Is it in alignment with who you would like to become? And if it's not, if things are amuck and things are skewed, you can make the changes to be in the right direction. It's almost like if you're driving to a destination. If you don't make some changes and you know you're going the wrong way, that is your responsibility. That is your decision. You chose not to take action. You chose to ignore that you were on the wrong path. But the reality is you were always in control. It's not going to be easy sometimes. I understand. The wheel is right there. The road is large, scary. Everyone's going so fast, it seems. The world is moving so fast, it seems. But it doesn't mean that you can't pull over to the right and go into the slow lane and start to piece your life back together, to start to roadmap things into or toward the path that you would like to, at least head in. And then from there, you can start to figure out your destination. Because not everyone is going to know exactly where they want to be in life. But if you can at least figure out the direction, then that's going to start to help you figure out what is next in your life. Because again, society and the world is going to tell you what you need to do, who you need to be, the comforting lie of what is supposed to be you. But at the end of the day, only you can decide who you would like to be. And if you need help in uncovering that dirt, right? Uncovering that person, we do it through coaching. We do it through investigation. We do it through journaling. You don't necessarily need a coach for that journey. You can do it yourself. But if you're a person who's always being teetered and tattered kind of off that path because your friends do this and your family does this, and you always feel like you're all alone, it's a good sign that you probably need some help. It's a good sign that you need a coach. It's a good sign that you have the potential to get there because you have given yourself some awareness, some mindfulness that, hey, I can make some good changes in my life. I know there's something wrong. That is the first step. Because if you think everything is right, if you think you don't have to change your weight or change your career or change your relationship, you won't. Typically, you won't. But if you can say that this is not what I want, let me get what I want or what I need or what I desire or what I'm destined to have. The terminology can be whatever you choose it to be. But the reality is, who do you think you are? Who do you want to be? And then from there, your life begins to change, typically toward the better, more aligned version of yourself. So this episode is definitely one that you want to share and let other people know that it's not only about what other people want from you or what a magazine told you. This is an episode for you to do some reflection and say, hey, this is who I am. Am I satisfied with this person? And if not, let me begin to make some changes. Because then from that change, I can do what I might have been too afraid to do. Take action. Take action today. And I will see you on the next episode. But until then, everyone, take care.